Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. So today I am officially putting on my virtual teacher hat. Grab your notepads, settle in because class is officially in session. We are looking at essential business expressions today. Those golden little phrases that just make workplace communication smooth, polite, and completely professional.
Look, whether you're walking into a corporate office for the very first time, hammering out a contract, or, just trying to politely survive the break room with your coworkers, having the right words at the ready is absolutely crucial. This explainer is going to act as your quick, highly practical refresher course on polite workplace communication. Okay, let's dive right into this.
Here is the syllabus for today's class. First, a welcome to business English. Next, we'll cover essential office expressions. Then, we'll see why context is key, jump into some call and response practice, and wrap it all up with real-world role plays. All right, part 1, welcome to business English. Okay, so the absolute bedrock of any successful business interaction is clear, respectful communication. Our goal today is to master basic, polite phrases that you can use in everyday office situations, during negotiations, or when you're helping customers. And listen, these aren't just vocabulary words to memorize, they are highly practical tools you can confidently apply at work the second this lesson ends. Moving right along to part 2, essential office expressions. Time to build up that core vocabulary. And first up, a total classic. Pleased to meet you. This is your absolute go-to formal introduction or greeting. You use this when you're meeting a new business partner or a visitor for the very first time. Now, what's really interesting is how instantly this phrase establishes a tone of respect. It sounds incredibly polite and highly professional, setting the perfect stage for whatever business comes next. Now, picture this. You're showing a client, or maybe a super nervous job candidate, into your office. They might be hovering awkwardly by the door, kind of unsure of what to do. Just saying, please have a seat immediately puts them at ease. It's the perfect welcoming remark to transition from standing around to actually starting your meeting. Ooh, okay, this next one is a real game changer. That's a bit expensive. It is a fantastic phrase when you need to disagree with the price while negotiating with the seller. So the crucial point here is that in business English, you can't just yell, "No way, that's too much," right? That can come across as super aggressive. By saying, "That's a bit expensive," you're using a much softer, far more professional way to push back on pricing while keeping the whole relationship intact. All right, on to part 3. Context is key. Okay, teacher moment here. I have to remind you that just memorizing a phrase, that's really only half the battle. Let's do a quick pop quiz. When someone asks, "Can I help you?" in a shop or a business setting, what is the absolute best response if you do not need any assistance? Take a second, think about it. What would you say? Did you get it? The perfect answer is, "No thanks, I'm just looking." It's literally the ideal polite response for a shopping or customer support scenario where you just want to browse by yourself. It acknowledges their offer, thanks them for it, but clearly sets your boundary. Let's look at a few more of these contexts. If you're arranging a meeting and someone throws out a time, you just say, "That sounds fine." Leaving the office and a coworker tells you to have a nice weekend, your automatic polite reply is, "Same to you." And when you're wrapping up a phone call, "Speaks to you later" is the standard sign-off. You see how specific expressions perfectly map to scheduling, departing, and phone calls? Context is everything. Now for part 4, call and response practice. All right, let's test those conversational reflexes. I'm going to give you a prompt, and I want you to answer mentally, or hey, shout it out loud if you want, before I reveal the correct business expression. Your coworker says to you, "Thanks for all your help." You say, "Yep, you're welcome." This brilliantly shows how expressing gratitude in English should naturally trigger this polite, automatic reply. It's simple for sure, but absolutely essential for office harmony. Let's try another one. Someone says, "Can you pass me that pen?" Or a file, or a stapler, whatever. What do you say as you physically hand it over? Here you are. Whenever you're handing a document or an object to a colleague, this is just the standard, polite way to hand it off, so you aren't doing it in total awkward silence. Okay, one more practice round. You're on the phone, the person says, "I'm in a meeting now, can you call me after 5 p.m.? How do you gracefully handle that delay? You say, "Sure, no problem, speak to you later." Notice how brilliantly this handles a scheduling conflict. You respect their boundary with "no problem" and confirm the future plan with "speak to you later." And finally, part 5, real-world role plays. You guys are doing fantastic. Now let's take the training wheels off and bring these phrases into the real world with some back and forth dialogue. Scenario 1, first impressions. Imagine you're meeting a brand new business partner for the very first time. The stakes are high, and you really want to build trust right out of the gate.
So here is how it goes down. Step 1. You confidently step up, initiate, and say, "Hi, I'm Thomas Clark." Step 2. Your partner replies with our golden phrase, "Pleased to meet you," and maybe offers you a coffee. Bam! See how fluid that is? When you know the exact vocabulary, it just sits perfectly into a professional conversation without any weird pauses.
All right, let's turn up the heat. Scenario 2, the negotiation. You've got a buyer and a seller, and real money is on the line. How do we hold our ground but keep it completely polite?
Watch this play out. Step 1. The buyer hears the initial price and gives a soft pushback with our phrase, saying, "That's a bit expensive." Step 2. The seller doesn't get defensive because the language was so respectful, right? They just accept it and pivot, saying something like, "We can offer you $100. It just shows exactly how polite pushback keeps the negotiation totally professional and moving forward, instead of shutting the whole thing down.
Now, before we pack up our bags for today, I want to isolate one more absolute must-know phrase. I'm here to see Mr. Sanders. When you walk into a new office building and walk right up to that receptionist's desk, this is the exact sentence you need. It's direct, it states your purpose, and it prompts them to use their phrase, "Please have a seat." It is quite literally the verbal key that unlocks the door to your meeting.
Well, would you look at the time? Class dismissed. You crushed it today. We covered greetings, negotiations, matched contexts, and even knocked out some role-playing. But hey, I've got a final question for you. Which of these expressions are you actually going to use in the office tomorrow? I want you to take today's homework and actively apply it in your real life. Use these phrases to build better, more polite professional relationships. Thanks so much for joining my virtual classroom on the Explainer today. Keep practicing, and I'll see you next time.